Welcome, everybody. I am sharing today's episode with you because I wanted to show you that in some cases, a bond between friends can become closer after going through some really tough stuff. I wanted to show you how on the outside, it looked like I had it all, and for some reason continually tried to wreck it with my behavior. And along with that, I want to show you what true friendship is. Even if it took some real tough love and being shut out of loved ones' lives to protect innocent bystanders, but mostly how the love of Jesus can bring in some cases forgiveness and a stronger bond than ever before. Welcome to Alive and Sober with Reno C, where real life, recovery, and faith collide. So, what if the biggest dumpster fire you ever created actually became the clearest proof to you that God can still redeem you? Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Today I'm joined by two very special guests, Dan and Kara Whitney. Kara, is he going to be okay on camera?
Oh, yeah.
Are we on the air now?
This is going to be difficult. We've been friends for a long time, and I love them very much. They actually watched me at my absolute worst.
This is true.
I probably spent more time with you guys than I did my own family. During the time we were touring like crazy, going all over the country. I was living at your house in between shows and staying, and I was involved. They had two young children. I had gotten to a point in my life where everything I thought I wanted, I had. Like I was on television, you know what I mean? It was kind of cool. And then I was in movies. Unfortunately, every movie I was ever in has his name attached to it, because the only way I got in them was because of my friend.
To the point.
So it's hard.
I'm kidding.
This can be hard to talk about.
Well, first of all, I love how you rattled off the Bible verses.
Well, thank you.
That was nice.
I read them.
Do it without the problem.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding, Rick.
Well, and I'm laughing about this because I feel like I can now. And there were times where if I didn't laugh at it, I'd cry. Because I had been, your family, you two, had given me a million chances that I'd blow up. I should have been fired probably daily. I was never the kind of drunk, I didn't think, and maybe I was, but that I was necessarily mean. Like okay, maybe I was, we'll get to, I thought I just got happier and laughed and stuff like that. But my point is this, is that when you're in the throes of addiction, you know how much I love you guys, but I didn't care what you felt or what you thought or what you did. I wanted what I wanted. I wanted to drink. I wanted to party. I wanted to live like a rock star. And at the time, whether we want to just throw it out on the table, in a lot of ways I used you guys, especially him, where I would manipulate things to work in my favor when it was his tour. So like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I want to get into is, I don't know what it's like to care about somebody, because I've been an addict myself. I don't know what it's like to not be an addict, love somebody, care about them, have to kind of feel the responsibility of me when I'm out there. Because, you know, if we go out and I do something crazy, he used to tell me all the time, he's like, man, he goes, I love you, but like, they're not going to say Reno did this. They're going to say Larry the Cable Guy did this. If we're out, no one knows me. So whenever anyone was around, I could have taken down what he worked his whole life to build and what you guys built together as a family. I could have taken that down.
I've paid a lot of fines for things that Reno's done. Let me just say this, since we're here and we're talking. Yes, Reno, I love Reno with all my heart. We had a great time out on the road. When he was drinking, he was hilarious. But I'll be honest, he's not drinking, and he's hilarious. I think Reno thought he needed to drink to be hilarious. I know that Reno, I think am I not correct that a lot of people drink because they have a lot of other difficulties?
Yeah.
And they drink to get rid of those difficulties. But I just want to say, while I'm sitting here talking to you in this environment, it's amazing, and that's why we're here. It's amazing what God can do in people's lives. Because Reno was crazy. He was fun, obviously. But yeah, there were many, many times when we said, Reno's going to die, Reno's going to kill himself. I mean, that's all fun and games, but when it gets down to it, he needs to stop drinking because he needs to do something about it. So the fact that he even has this podcast and he's been sober now for a long time and he's talking to Kara and I about it, it's pretty awesome what God can do in a person's life. People try everything except that. And that is truly the only thing that gives you joy in your life. And the fact that we're even here talking about it and you've quit drinking and you've figured all that out, it's amazing. Reno found Jesus Christ. He was there the whole time, but the alcohol was kind of fuzzying him up a little bit. We've all had our struggles, and we know we've had our struggles. Jesus pulls us out of it.
He does. And you know, you said one time to me on a plane, I don't know if you even remember this, but we were coming back from somewhere and I was drilling whatever liquor was on the plane, and you know,
I'll be honest, though, there was a very crazy flight, and even the pilots were drinking. So, in all fairness, Reno, I was doing heroin. That was a bad flight. No.
Well, we're flying, and I had been out of it, and Kara and I had been through conversations. She took a different approach than you that I want to get into as soon as we get done with this. But you said to me, hey man, are you having fun? And I was like, I'm on your plane that you are having to pay for, and I'm drinking the booze that you're going to get charged for, you know, blowing it out. And I go, yeah, I'm having fun. Are you crazy? And you go, cool. Because I know you went to the doctor, and I just wanted to tell you that none of these people that we travel around with, that you drink with, give two things about you.
Right.
They don't care at all. So when you're dying, I just want to take the time now while I can, on behalf of my wife and your kids and your mom, to thank you for putting us through that. And I know I'd pushed you, you know, and to push you to your edge takes an awful lot, dude. And but let me finish. But that statement, because this hurts, I look up to you, and I always thought of you as like my big brother. Like I'd watch you do stuff and I'd be like, oh, that's it. And you'd talk to me, you'd say things. Well, Jesus, you were never like smack me in the face with a Bible, but you'd mention what worked for you.
Right.
And I think that's the only thing that works in this is as attraction. You can say whatever you want, but it's actions. And in actions, Kara, who was a new mother, had children, and what was it like? What I want to happen is I want people who are newer to recovery, who are accepting the fact that they're going to have to dig out all their gunk and clean it out and clean up the mess they made, right? And sometimes it's hard to know how to make amends to somebody. It's hard to know what to apologize for. One, because you weren't paying attention, because you didn't care, because you were selfish in your addiction. And two, you don't remember things because you were deep in your addiction. So when you have to make amends to somebody, it's hard to know what they were feeling. So when we approach an amends, sometimes people take them. You did. I waited a couple years because I'd apologized to you guys so many times that it didn't mean anything anymore.
You were dead to her.
I know.
That's not true.
Well, obviously not dead, but
I thought you were going to die, and so I distanced myself from.
But I would come in your home and act a certain way. How did I make you feel when I was in the throes of addiction? And then how do I make you feel now?
Well, do you want to start with the throes, or do you want to start at the first time I met you?
Start the first time we met.
Yeah, because You were different. Like it was it's a progressive disease. So when we first met, I would have never known you had a problem with alcohol. Yeah, you would drink, but you were coherent. You had wisdom. We had great conversations. And I will say, this is how God works. He's so amazing. I wasn't a believer at the time, and but I was very curious about Jesus. And I remember one night on the tour bus asking you, like, how would I find out more about Jesus? Because I read some book, and it was a prosperity preacher, and he's just like, think it and it's going to come true. And I was like, well, this isn't doing anything for me, because I have everything that the world would want to, that you try to desire from the world, right? So, all right, you still have that God-shaped hole, right, that Jesus fits into. And I remember, who is Jesus? How do I find out more about Jesus? And you said, there's this book. And you didn't have it on you, so you had the wherewithal to eventually bring the book, pack it, and bring it to me. And it was...
God knows I wasn't reading it.
Yeah.
No.
I did not know that, though, because you grew up around that. I did not. And so you had the lingo down, and I wanted that. I also saw some really amazing qualities that you had. So I don't think you can sit here and berate yourself. You're wonderful. What a parent sees in their children and what God sees in us, he sees our potential. And what you want people to see in your children is and that's how Jesus wants us to view all people. You want them to see, he wants us to see people how he sees them, their potential, his love for them, right? So don't just say, oh, I went from 0 to 100 in your addiction and you were this terrible person. You're not a terrible person.
I don't feel like that anymore, but I sure did.
You progressively turned into,
Yeah.
This.
It slowly went that way.
You could see it too?
Oh, yeah. It slowly went that way. But I knew inside was not that person.
See, we feel like that when you're in the throes of it. There's that good part. God's in there. You just keep like, I don't want you to take this from me. Like I would pray to not drink tomorrow, but I wouldn't pray to not drink ever again because I was afraid he'd take it from me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even touch the prayer.
Right.
Right. So it was like a pick and choose type of thing. But I know, aside from like trying to climb up the hotel when I pulled stunts and did bad things, but when you're your parents and you have kids and you have somebody, I mean, obviously you were worried because you became mama bear. Like you were like,
yeah. Now in the beginning, you were a babysitter. Like when our son was an infant, I had somewhere to be, and you're like, I'll watch him. I mean, he came back a West Virginia fan for a while. That was a problem.
That was worse than the drinking.
That's worse than the alcoholism, seriously.
I hear that.
But you hung out with him. You made sure he got his bottle, the whole thing. So, I mean, yeah, it's a progressive disease. And there's parts about you, when you look at someone and you're like, man, I wish I was more that. I can do that with you. You're a very loyal person. What happens is over time, though, I thought we were friends and you were not loyal. Like I saw how you were treating Dan.
Of course, I'm always too dumb to realize anything. So.
I don't know.
You're an easy target.
Well, here's when it came to a head for me was when we went to Hawaii, and it just wasn't good, and I was worried you were going to die because you were jumping from balcony to balcony trying to get in your room, thinking it was funny, and it was like a huge drop, and that was pretty much that's when I'm like, man, Reno is really, we got to do something, Well, that, and then my 80-year-old mommy went and had relations with him.
I have said some awful things. I know.
He was drinking. That's what alcohol does.
But
then again, you've never seen her in a bikini.
Surely.
No, but it was a gradual deal. Reno, I can say this about Reno. Kara's right. That's why you're one of my closest friends, because that was always in you. You always had that in you. The alcohol brought out evil Reno.
We called it the 8 o'clock bully. Well, I remember going to Dan and saying, why do we have alcohol on the backstage writer? For anyone who doesn't know, you're on the road, and so you request certain things.
You have to eat. You have to eat stuff during the show.
And we had kids, so there was, the fruits, the vegetables, all the thing, and then there was bottles of Jack or whatever it was.
Jim Beam per minute, depending.
Yeah, depending. And so I would say, why do we have that? And it's, you're in different cities, and so you're trying to entertain friends that come to visit.
Family members.
Right.
But it's interesting because, people that come, that's their big night out. But we're doing that every night. And so they want to have a good time. They want to have some drinks. And so it's a completely enabling situation for somebody who has a drinking problem. So, hey, let's not buy Reno's booze anymore.
Yeah, we had to cut. Yeah, that was the thing. But that's the problem in the entertainment business, though. We're doing shows, and for some people, it's their big night out, and we want to entertain them.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing in your position, though, and this is for anybody watching the podcast at home, you can't be an enabler. You're not their friend if you're an enabler. That's why Kara and I. That's why we had to start doing stuff. That's why we had to start letting you know things. A true friend will let you know. They will take the chance of you not being their friend again to tell you what's up.
Dude.
And out on the road, there's a lot of enablers. Even if you're not in that business, out there, when you're an alcoholic, there's a lot of friends, there's a lot of enablers. Let's go have a good, but you got to remember, when it's all said and done, each one of us can count about this many real friends, true friends. And believe me, drinking buddies ain't true friends.
I found that out.
Yeah, but you were very fortunate. God was totally looking out for you. Because you had true friends. I love you. Kara loved you. So you had true friends that when it came time, they're like, well, you got to stop. You got to quit, man. If you don't ever talk to me again, I don't care. But you got to quit. And I think you had people that did that to you. And I think that helped kick you into high gear a little bit.
When I meet people in recovery, I'm one of the luckiest people on the planet that I had. My mom and dad are still alive. Mm-hmm. Not everyone gave up on me. But there's a good way. This sounds so.
I don't think gave up's the word.
Right.
That you drag people down.
Right. You beat them into submission.
Yes.
And then they go, for the sake of other people that I love, mm-hmm. you've got to stay away.
Yeah.
And that is a survival instinct. And by the way, that's the right way to do it. Because the hard talks that I had with both of you, that I didn't like, mm-hmm. because it was about things that I was doing. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to. I was so scared to be around you, because you were showing me truth, and I didn't want to hear it. So it was pop in and agree, and in the moment I was like, she is so right. Then I walk away and I'm like, well, yeah, but no one's going to tell me what to do. I'm a man. I don't quit. I can handle this myself. I can da-da-da. And it takes, and that alcoholic brain doesn't listen, man. It's air. It's like, well, if I do what she wants to do, I'm not going to be able to get my food, which is booze, or you know what I mean? But I never felt like God left me. I left him I would leave. And then I look back at everything and I'm like, well, wait a minute. God was leaving me these freaking signs, like Hansel and Gretel, like your breadcrumbs are going right to me. And you just feel like for some reason you have to run 12 miles that way and then go 16 miles this way and 4 miles back here to go 3 inches. Like, I made it so difficult. But I wondered, so when I came to you to apologize, and I waited. And I remember talking to you on the back porch. I was drunk, crying. I'm so sorry. Woe is me. That's the addictive way. Like, poor me. You guys did
And he
this.
wasn't wearing pants,
You
which I
guys-
thought was even worse.
I will tell you this. That doesn't go away after you get sober. You still don't want your pants. I hate this right now. But I was out in the backyard talking to you, and I'm crying, going, man, I just babbling like a moron. And I remember being like, why doesn't he listen to what I'm saying? I'm off the phone, drunk, blaming you.
Yeah.
Blaming you. Somebody who had paid and taken care of me through me being a disaster. You never turned your back on me. Even when you said enough is enough, you didn't turn your back on me. Like you were like, you're not going to be around my family. You're not going to. And by the way, that's what you have to do. You have to protect the people who are, it's just like when people talk about a liver transplant and they go, well, we have a guy who drank himself to this point and somebody else who just has some awful disease. You'd give the liver to the person that didn't drink themselves to death.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is a choice that I made. And I know people say, you can't, addiction is so hard to stop. You had to do it once to get addicted to it. And for whatever reason that was, my fault, whatever it was, it happened. And I ended up where I was. And like you guys said, it progressively got worse. So you watched it from where it was just kind of drinking beers, couple shots, playing cards, to, okay, it spun out of control. I trashed a family. I mean, I to this day will not say that was all my fault, but all I can do is take responsibility for my part.
Correct.
In the beginning, I thought I had no part in it. It was all the other person's fault.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, you're not so perfect.
Even career-wise, when you weren't getting work anymore and people weren't trusting you, you blamed him.
Yeah. Oh, I would not take responsibility for anything that I did. And if I said I was taking responsibility, it was so somebody would hear me say I'm taking responsibility so they wouldn't think I'm an alcoholic.
Right.
It's like waking somebody up at noon to drink with you, like one of our friends who has since passed on used to do, would wake somebody up and go, get up and drink with me. It's noon. And they're like, I know, but if I drink by myself, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, misery loves company, but so does love and recovery, right? So all those things that work, drinking, like I always say, like, I didn't come up with this. I heard someone else say it, but I'd walk 2 miles in 3 feet of snow to get a bottle of whiskey and come back to the house. Well, I put that much effort into recovery,
Yeah.
right? So as we've moved on and we've gone through the beginning, getting to where it was, and by the way, they're being very kind in saying the things that I actually didn't do.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
When you forgive somebody, you can't sit and berate them and make them feel terrible.
I don't even remember any of those things about you crawling on the wall, or I don't remember any of them.
You know?
I mean, I can give you.
I remember 'em, but
I
I'm
can give
just-
you
how can I-
instances, but that's done.
Well, for the sake of going through the amends process and working your way through, right? So it was fine, then it wasn't. Then I only have a view of myself from the inside looking out. And we're doing this episode for one reason, to let people get to know me. So when they hear me speak about other things, they know what world I'm coming from, right? So, and we all have the one thing in common, that's addiction. But in that, you will find people coming from absolutely nothing to wealthy to this to that. There's one, everything on social media is race. There's one thing that's not racist: addiction. It does not care who you are, where you come from, what you are, and you can't buy your way or fight your way through it alone, right? But you've watched me go through this process.
Yeah, well, you went from, babysitting the kids, then the unfortunate meeting of the 8 o'clock bully.
The 8 o'clock bully, explain to them what
Well,
that is.
you were great, and then 8 o'clock would roll around, you get off stage, and after opening.
The show started, by the way, at 7:50.
Yeah.
I couldn't even stay sober. Probably had to work 10 minutes a day.
And you drink and get mean. And our tour manager at the time would go, well, that's the 8 o'clock bully.
I'd get mean.
Mean.
Yeah, you were a lot of people that drink, they get mean. You got a little mean. I personally don't like hanging around drunk people. They're annoying. You know, now some of them are very loving, and it's just annoying. I don't think, when you're an alcoholic, you don't realize how annoying it is to other people. The only person you're not annoying to is the other person drinking with you.
Yeah.
You know, so it got annoying. But here's the thing: this is why you can tell who your real friends are. You know, even though we were annoyed, and I was annoyed, I loved you. You were one of my best buddies, and we had tons of laughs. And so I was just, hoping that one day it would, and it did. So
It did. And I don't regret, I hate that I hurt people. You know what I mean? But I don't regret going through it, because I never could have gotten this close to Jesus if I hadn't gotten just pounded.
you gotta get deep in the valley
Yeah.
to find Jesus.
And the thing about drunk people being annoying, I can't believe I'm saying this to you guys, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks the most is I go out with my friends that still drink, and most of them are 50. And we'll go out and we get to the bar, because I can go to bars now. I don't care. I mean,
Right,
it doesn't. It did for a while, but it doesn't bother me at all. I don't stay that long. But I go in with them, and they're like, "You're not even gonna have a beer with me," and I'm like, "No," and they're like, "You wuss, dude. As long as we've known each other." Then they get to 5, and they're like, "You are such. Look at you, man. This is what you do now. You just do."
And that's what
Yeah.
you call not a real friend.
Right. But then they get to 12, and they're like, "How do I stop?" And I'm like, "Shut up, dude. I'm not doing this with you right now. Call me in the morning." But it is so annoying.
Yeah.
But to me, I honestly thought I was livening parties up. I would leave a situation. I swear, I know it sounds crazy, but I would leave and be like, "Man, I just showed everybody a real good time. You're welcome."
The infamous Maui trip, we actually stopped wanting to go to dinner,
By the way, this is my best friend and boss's 50th birthday celebration. He paid for the whole thing they both paid for this, for their closest friends to go to Maui, Hawaii to celebrate his 50th birthday party. And I was one of the people. And
Every night we would go to dinner. Remember, we'd sing him happy birthday and he'd get so embarrassed. I mean, we had fun, but
We had a
you
good
were
time.
so obnoxious.
Oh, I got so
that
drunk that night.
The last,
I don't drink, I'm kidding.
the last
right now.
2 dinner times we were supposed to go to dinner, we didn't want to go to dinner and not tell you. We just ceased to go to dinner, period. And we
were
kind of
just trying to
scattered.
avoid you.
We were just trying to avoid.
Which is a side effect that the alcoholic has no idea they're creating. So when you go to make amends and you're saying you're sorry, it's weird, right? You have, first of all, it's very difficult, because some people are not going to accept your apology.
Do you know what you do when you, I mean, I know why you do, but do you remember, do you know?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get people's minds working, so before they go in to make amends, or they're talking to someone, even if it's not amends, you're just talking to somebody off the street that you knew a long time ago, right? And you have in your head all these judgments of what they know me from that, and they know me from that. When you see, I turned my car. When I first quit drinking, my wife and I were driving back from a show in North Carolina on a country road, right, coming back from the beach. There was a DUI checkpoint. I got up and saw the blue lights and jerked my truck off the side of the road, went around into the side of the field, and Sandy's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, and she goes, "Honey, you don't drink anymore."
So wild.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah." So then I just turned up and being annoying. I went through the DUI thing. I'm like, "Who do you have in the car? Let me see him. Can I talk to him? What do they look like?" You know what I mean? But it's so ingrained in your thought process, gets so stuck in that you don't know everything you've done.
Right.
Right? But and this is a golden situation. They're not all going to be like this where somebody forgives you, because there are going to be them. But all you can do is try. And after that, if they shut the door, maybe the timing's not right. and you need to wait. Or maybe you need to prove that you're trustworthy again, because I had broken that with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, what you can apologize and apologize and apologize, but they don't mean anything. And in recovery, attraction is more important than words. Like, you want to live a certain way, and in Christianity, I believe, you live a certain way is why people want to go, how'd you get like that? It's not because I told you I was like that.
Right.
You know, it's like people with juicy written across the back of their pants. Most of the time, that was a bad choice.
All right, look, they were on sale. And that's why I
And
got
that's
them.
why we're here to talk to you about those
That's
bands.
what we're here to talk to you about. This isn't about alcoholism. This is your intervention. Your Victoria's Secret sweatpants need to go in the trash. I'm going to sit like this, like I'm an actual host. But we went through all that. You would go and make your amends. I made my amends to you. What did it feel like hearing me apologize to you? After I'd apologized to you all those times, what did it feel like after I'd been sober for a while?
Yeah. In my situation, it was different. I believe you texted me, and I was so happy, first of all, that you were alive. I actually cried. And
You did.
then I texted you back because I was so excited to tell you I found Jesus. Right? And you were responsible for that. So here's two people that were alive.
Right.
You know, so we have Jesus in common. And so I was just so happy. And then I was happy to tell you that I wrote these books. I mean, it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
And you had given me one. And so it was just awesome. To me, it was an awesome experience.
And that doesn't happen all the time.
No.
But when it does, it feels so good.
Yeah.
Because
He called and apologized to me. I thought he'd been drinking. Like, what's going on?
I mean, I've gotten the call from someone's step program to apologize to me. And interestingly, I didn't really believe what they said, you know.
We believed.
Yeah.
do you think it's because I waited?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was just good timing, which I'm sure God had a lot to do with that.
Oh, 100%.
Because I so badly wanted to reach out to you before, and I didn't. I think too because of there was a time on Facebook, I was commenting on something with my mom, and you chimed in, and you were mean. You were mean to me, and I was like, boy, he's really mad. You wouldn't remember, and so I was scared to reach out to you for how I would be treated, maybe. But I so badly wanted to tell you that I found Jesus, and I was able to.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And you were crushing it. Like, I was like, it's so
Yeah.
weird. I was like, I always knew.
So you know, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you, and I just think it's amazing that our love for God, our faith isn't based on our love for God, because, you know, but it's on His love for us, right? That's our faith, you know, so.
A lot of guys at my age are worried about legacy. Like, I keep hearing people go, what's my legacy going to be? Like, and I hear it in recovery places because they're concerned that their legacy is going to be all these drinking disaster stories that they made. And I always think about it like, well, that could be your legacy, or your legacy could be the people you helped after you got what you got. If God gives you a gift, you can either hover over it or you can pass it on down. And when people are real Christians, like, I look at you guys, the way you love each other, the way you smooch each other with no, you know what I mean? You guys genuinely, you're the same. You love each other like you did in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's attraction. He read the Bible. You read the Bible. Like, at night before I'd go to bed, he'd be sitting on the couch reading the Bible. That is, people don't think about that being part of their legacy, but that's the most important part of your legacy.
I think sobriety is an awesome legacy to have. I have a friend. She's one of 9 children. She's the youngest in this family. And one time she revealed to me that her dad was an alcoholic, recovered alcoholic. I had no idea. And I just thought that was an amazing story for him, because he was an amazing husband, and he is an awesome father.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought, wow, he that is his legacy. Let that recovery be part of your story.
I want it to be all mine because
Yeah.
most of the other stuff was a disaster. I mean, anytime I try to do it, it ends up I blow it up.
Yeah, but isn't that the point?
Alone.
I'm sorry. Isn't that the point, though, of the Christian walk? That we all have this horrible side of us that Jesus can redeem if we follow him and allow him to do that. You know, Satan's always going to remind you of that.
Yeah.
But that's gone.
Yeah.
You know, in God's eyes anyway. I mean, you're going to have people in your life that'll sit there and remind you of what you were.
Yeah.
But, and you know, that's why you stay in the Word too, because sometimes that person was comfortable, but the more you grow towards Jesus, the less comfortable that is.
Well, I think that, I mean, I've never been an alcoholic. I couldn't say, but here's what I think. I think that the more you get sanctified and the more you get closer to God and depend on God, those things that drove you to drink, you learn to put that all in God's hands.
That's what recovery's all about.
And that's what makes you not want to drink again, because you've put all your trust in him to not let those things get to you and bother you. And that's part of your growth in Christ. And that's why I always say, generally, to get over an addiction, Jesus Christ is the only way to do it, because that is true joy and true happiness. Because not only, he doesn't just mask everything, he cures everything.
Yeah, it's not a Band-Aid.
It's not a Band-Aid.
It's a cure, yeah.
And it's a gradual deal. You're never going to be perfect till you get to heaven, but
Right.
as you can tell, you've learned to put your faith in Christ, which has taken away and held back those demons that made you drink.
So
And that's an amazing deal.
It's the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
So what we talk about in recovery too is, you know, it's kind of like what it was like, what it's like now. Kara, could you kind of tell me because I only see how I am from the inside looking out.
This is the part of the podcast where Reno now fishes for compliments that he's sober and what a great guy.
Security, could we have him removed? I'd like Bill Engvall to come in. Please, Bill Engvall.
I will say you're the same person I met,
The same, right?
but you're sober. Because like I said, it was a slow decline.
So like I'm more like I was before I start. Like I'm kind of back to, because my mom said to me, she goes, "You have no idea how
You're
good it
yourself.
feels to have my son
You're
back."
yourself.
Yeah.
You were funny drinking.
Yeah.
You're just as funny not drinking.
think
You're
you're
the
funnier.
same guy. Yeah, you're funnier. You're writing material. You're doing new things. You're yourself. Your personality is coming through you, not the bottle.
Right.
Yeah, and you're nicer on stage. You're not shouting and yelling as much.
Well, I
He
only
used
had
to
10
do it.
minutes.
Here's how mean he used to
It
be.
started with jokes.
He used to
Towards
do
the
it-
end, he was yelling, "Get off my lawn!"
Do you know how angry I am?
Like he used to do a joke, and all he would have to say, he goes, "Macaroni and cheese." That's how he should have. He'd always go, "Macaroni and cheese," because he was bitter.
I was very angry. I had a lot of things pinned up inside that needed to get out. Who screams angrily macaroni and cheese?
My kids. My kids scream macaroni and cheese anytime Reno's name is mentioned, which shows you really needed to get a new act.
Right.
You are the same old Reno that I took out on the road and had such a good time with, and you're doing it without alcohol. We go golfing together. How many times do we laugh? Hard belly laugh, all the time. I do it more now than I did then, because you would get about a certain time, you were,
Dude, that one time, I know, this podcast is not about telling funny drinking stories at all, but
Right.
just because of who's sitting here. On that Hawaii trip, we all went, we played Valhalla, Kapalua.
Kapalua.
And we get done playing, and the cart girl was coming up with the beer tab, and I was like, I got to get that. I didn't want anyone to see what
It's
I'd
a
done.
true story, by the way.
So she comes over. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. She comes over, and I go, "Give me that." And he's like, no, man, I told you, I got, you know, you don't pay for it. I got it. And she's like, it was like $480. And he's like, what? And she goes, $480.
All I
And he
had
goes,
was a fig Newton and a
goes-
couple waters.
he goes, what are you talking about? And she's going through Marty and everybody. She goes, and Greg, she's like, well, he had 4 beers. He had 6. He had 19. And he had, Dan goes, you had 19 beers? And I go, I'm trying to figure out which hole I had 2 on. You know, I mean, it's funny now because I'm not dead.
Yeah.
But like that story's not funny. I mean, I guess it still is kind of funny, but it's not. It's that type of thing. Like I can look at those now because there was a time when I first got sober, I was like, that's so gross, and now I'm like, give yourself a break,
It's
man.
still funny.
Yeah, it's still funny.
It's still funny. Hey, that was part of your wilderness walk. If it weren't
That's
for
when
things,
you were working on your testimony.
That's right.
yeah, if
That
it weren't
sweet
for
Southern-
those things, it wouldn't have come to this.
He
So,
was just out working on his testimony.
God, look, it's not. That's the great thing about God's love for us. It's not. It's all about how you finish. Got to finish good.
And there's going to be people or even your own mind telling you, well, you did that, you did that, you did that. You just have to focus on where you're at.
Yeah.
Here's what God did
Yeah.
with those.
But can you tell? And this is not about me trying to get compliments, although I do find them wonderful.
They are nice.
They're wonderful. But like when people talk about somebody found the Holy Spirit, right? And I grew up in church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew the language. I could speak the whole.
Yeah.
I could come away and someone could be like, what a good Christian guy.
The Christianese.
The Christianese, yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk all of it, but I didn't feel it. I didn't totally believe in it. Like I went through this period where it was like I thought I was crazy again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh, I'm nuts. I'm talking and I'm really believing this and I'm really going to make my decisions based on this and I'm really going to do this podcast or I'm really going to do, you know, and I can't tell what it looked like from the outside. And I'm not talking about compliments as far as me being, because it's kind of weird to me that when we celebrate somebody and give them compliments for doing something they weren't supposed to do to begin with, in my head, I still struggle with that. And I know there's a lot of different views on that, right? But it's like being an alcoholic and somebody celebrating the fact that I'm not being a selfish jackass anymore feels like melodramatic almost. Like, well, that's not something to celebrate. What you do in service after you find sobriety, celebrate. But celebrating something that I was doing that was horrible that I just stopped, that I shouldn't have been doing in my mind, is still not really a celebration. But I understand that it makes people feel good. And by the way, I wanted this to be like, show what it was like when an amends went well, and I couldn't figure out how to word it, and just organically we did it.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that we're sitting here.
Yeah.
You know, when people go, well, Jesus doesn't do miracles anymore. You saw how many times I tried to quit drinking by myself.
Yeah.
You saw how many times I said I wasn't going to drink anymore, or I'd quit and then I'd start again, or I'd relapse and I'd do this and did it, you know. The only thing that changed and all that was I included Jesus.
Yeah.
I still had the, I'm going to stop and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And as soon as Jesus became my focus point, and people say higher power, you know, whatever, and for me it was Jesus Christ. There wasn't anything else. But as soon as I found that, I didn't notice I was changing, but I noticed the way people reacted to me were changing, right? Like I didn't do anything specifically to try to make people like me again or anything, because there's a lot of people that are still mad at me, you know, and
Yeah.
that may be like that
You'll
forever.
have people, I'm sure, that'll never stop being mad at you. And
There'll be people mad at you because you're a Christian.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I feel bad for people
absolutely.
that won't forgive that.
It kind of seems like it's them, right?
Well, it's
In some cases,
it's
though,
re-
I don't
it's-
want to give any false things. If you've done something to somebody, like we all did, that's really harsh, it could be years before, if you ever get there. You may not, but all you can control is your part in it. So it's
This is your sin, okay? I've done things to people I hope they can forgive me for. And for people I didn't even know that I did anything to. I'm sorry, you know, you do the best you can, or, you know, there's people I've forgiven because I realized there's years of resentment that was building up, but I realized that's a choice for me. Like, you have to make the choice to forgive someone. That doesn't mean, oh, I have Jesus, I'm forgiving this person, so they're forgiven and you're not going to ever dwell on that. No, it's going to come back up, and then you make this active choice to forgive someone. And so it's sometimes, depending on how bad it is and your relationship with the person, you may have to continually doing it. But I just think you say, Jesus, I'm making a commitment to forgive this person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a commitment, right?
I still have, there's always that like me, but it almost feels like a cheat, because when you truly forgive somebody, it's for you as much as it is them, because it takes away that baggage that's living in your brain rent free.
Well, it's a command.
No,
Jesus wants us to forgive.
I'm just saying that even with all the goodness in that, there's also another angle. It helps you.
Oh,
When
absolutely.
you forgive somebody else,
Yeah.
it helps you as much as it does them.
Right.
Yeah, unforgiveness is like a cancer.
That's right.
If
Yeah.
they choose not to forgive you, that's on them, not you.
Right.
You've done what you're supposed to do, and you ask for forgiveness.
We have to remember though, everybody's human.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not forgiving you for something you did, you don't need to hold anger about that either, because you did the best you could.
No.
You tried to get in, and yeah.
Yeah. You do the best you can, you know. So if you need to apologize, apologize.
Right.
It's how they take that apology. Now it's on them. You know, you can only handle how you're going to react to something. So
In recovery, before you make amends, you pull all that stuff out and lay it out in front of you. And you go through it, most importantly, with God. And you make amends, you ask for forgiveness to God first, and then after you've pulled up all your stuff, found out, then you move on to go into other people. So that process can be hard, and it can be, everybody's not as, I just don't want to give any false.
well, there's nothing worse than a bad apology. It's
Yeah.
worse than no apology.
Right.
Right?
100%.
So you have to take accountability
And know what you're sorry for.
and know what you're sorry for.
Right.
You know, that's raising kids 101. Like, you have to hold your kids accountable, right? So
It's almost like Jesus has all the answers in the Bible. Forgiveness, accountability.
Yeah.
It's in the book.
It is. It is. And almost
in the book.
almost every recovery book is based off of that.
yeah.
You know
Of
what I mean?
course it is.
I
Yeah.
remember sitting in a meeting of this group of people that I go to and thinking, everybody should come here. Like, I found all these things that are I got to tell somebody about this. And they're like, that's the Bible.
That's
like,
the gospel.
That's the gospel. That you didn't find anything new.
More
you didn't
of that.
invent this.
More of that.
Yeah.
How long is this podcast?
Well, that's the first segment. The second segment.
I'm only kidding right now.
Well,
When do I get to promote something?
When does Dan get to talk about him?
When do I get the floor? That's what I want to know.
So in closing,
Yeah, so did
No, I'm
this
just kidding.
achieve what you wanted it to achieve?
I think it did. I
Yeah.
think what it changed halfway through, right? Like,
Yeah.
in the beginning, I was thinking I wanted people to know kind of what it was like when you're going through what you've done, kind of figuring out as best you can what it was that hurt people, and that can be really difficult. I don't know that we did that, but it's along the lines
Well,
of
yeah,
an explanation.
I don't believe in beating you up for stuff. I don't feel anything for it because it wasn't you talking. It's the alcohol.
A lot of people don't get that, and you get into family dynamics where
That's a whole different
parents hurt a
animal.
child, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I'm trying to do is I want people to know they don't all go like this, but there are some that end up being better off.
Well, you can only do what you can do, you know. You do. When you're recovering, you made your apologies and you honestly mean it. You can only do what you can do. So the rest is up to the others. It sucks, but that's called reactions to what has happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every action has a reaction.
Well, there's going to be consequences. I mean, I will say this, when you were sober and you're trying to get back into it, Dan would say, I want him to open for me, or this, trying to, get you up and going again. Not his responsibility, but he's your friend. And him having to say to them, he's different. He will work, because there was a time where you would drink and you wouldn't work, and it was more about drinking and less about your career. That sucks. So people didn't trust you to do a good job.
Right.
And Dan said, no, he's back. It's fine.
I've forgotten all about it. I mean, you're a whole different guy. You're the same guy, but you're the same guy without the garbage that was ruining your life.
Yeah.
So you're
You know what the nicest thing someone has ever said to me? There's a guy, I've never met him in person or anything. This was when I was on Facebook. He's a recovered heroin addict. And he was, he's in a rock band. And he was walking through the airport, and his girlfriend liked horses. So he bought my book at the airport, and he was reading it on the plane. And he just emailed me through Facebook and said, hey, you know what? I got your book at the airport. I'm just so glad you're saved. It's like the greatest thing someone's ever said to me.
Yeah. You never know how that stuff, like stuff you guys said to me, you never know
Yeah.
what, and if your heart's in the right spot,
Yeah.
those moments and those gifts you give to people, I wouldn't have done that when I was drinking. I may not do it now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't, and a lot of people in recovery, like that guy, that means a lot to him.
Yeah, I'm just so glad you're saved, Reno.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we get to be on tour forever,
Yeah.
because your eternity...
You're going to be open for me.
Yeah, because your eternity started when you accepted Christ, and you're like, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
But God,
Yeah. And he just looks at him and goes, get her done.
well, the whole
Meek. I'm the meek.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't think that when you call and you ask forgiveness from people and tell people that you're sorry, it's not, I don't think that you should expect it. Once you get sober, all of a sudden everything's great again, and everything's, because there are those family dynamics. But once again, and I always do this, whenever I'm doing it, I go to the Bible, because that's what gives me joy. That's what's given you joy. And it says right in there, you're going to have major repercussions for disobeying the word of God.
Yeah.
And so that you did this and you did that, and you pushed them away and you pushed them away, or whoever's out there, you push them away. You know what? Now you're doing the right thing. Boom, boom, boom. The rest is up to them, not you. You're doing this. You're going to have repercussions from doing those things.
Yeah.
But the good news is you're sober and you're back on your feet and you're living life better.
And putting the work in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's, it's not everything's not gonna go away.
Right.
You're just sober. Now you're a different person. You're healthier. You're people like, the looks, or there's always something that's not going to be there. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah,
so
he
I
doesn't
would
give you everything.
for people that think, well, they didn't forgive me, and I feel you don't. You've done your part. You've asked forgiveness. You can't do anything more than mean an apology. And if they don't apologize, well, then you know what? They don't love you. They don't love you like you thought they did, because somebody that loves,
so hurt.
Or they're so hurt. You
but
can
somebody
hurt people beyond.
but if you love someone and
Well, the
you
thing
get
is,
that apology,
sometimes you have to make amends to people who don't love you.
Yeah.
well,
And that's what I'm saying.
You're
Like,
going to have
this is a
people
good
who
one.
don't even answer the phone when you try to call.
What you guys
Yeah.
did, though, is you gave information to people also who are going to receive an amends.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast is not just for the alcoholic. It is for the alcoholic, but I think in doing it specifically for the alcoholic, it also does things for the people that are around them. Because, like, for instance, what worked well for us, and it's different with everybody, is I had to be cut off.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was so mad and so hurt, but I had to be. you have to protect your family. You have to protect the people who are not making this bad decision.
Right.
You have to protect the ones that are trying to, right? So I think that's a good lesson to learn, that hard love is the only way this works too, or you're an enabler.
Yeah, and I think family dynamics too.
All of it has to do with it.
Family that's tough. I mean, my parents are divorced. They got divorced when I was, in my mid-20s, and all is forgiven, but there's still consequences that exist because of the way things shook out.
Right.
I'm just thankful I don't have any addictions.
Call 1-800 I can't stop eating Snickers bars. You guys,
I'm the one needs to be prayed for.
I cannot thank you enough for, I'm not going to do some grandstand, whatever I can tell you at the house, but I love you both. And I cannot thank you enough. I know how blessed I am to have had you guys in my life, and I put you through an awful lot. And the fact that when people talk about Jesus' miracles and things like that, the fact that I'm not drinking, to me, is a miracle.
Right.
The fact that I was able to turn this around the best I can. I'm gonna jack up a whole bunch of stuff, but I mean, I'm in the right direction. I'm going the right direction. I want to do the right thing and help as many people as we can. And I am, when things are tough, things are tough. When things are good, they're good. But I am so blessed to have you two. Just like dumb things that seem so small to you guys were so big to me going through this process. And I just want everyone to know the rest of these podcasts are not going to be about me. This was for you to get to know me a little bit, so that when I'm talking about other things, you know what world I came out of. We can identify with each other. I know people have different levels of problems and drugs and things like that, but if we can just let people know they have a place to come to,
Right.
and hear things that can encourage them, help them along their way. You guys did that today, and you could have, Kara could have really taken me to the mat, but we've already done that.
Yeah.
In person, with us.
And I know a lot of people are they're trying to get off their alcohol. And so, I mean, give Jesus a chance.
That's it,
You
man.
try everything else. Give it a shot. Remember, heaven's not for good people. It's for forgiven people. That's what heaven's for.
True.
Because none of us are perfect, and we all got something. But Jesus can help you get off of it.
Little less you, lot more me. Redemption is God stepping into your worst, making. All right, you take it. You want to do it?
Redemption is God stepping into your worst and making something new. And He did it for me. He did it for Reno. He did it for my wife. He can do it for you.
I don't even need to come here anymore. That was beautiful.